Welcome back. My name is Caleb Oliver and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the time that I was stranded in Puerto Rico in El Yunque Rainforest. But before we get started, just comment the word down below, stranded, because that is the topic for today's video. Alright, let's get started. So this happened in late summer. It was August 2017 and I traveled to Puerto Rico with my cousin. I was super excited to be able to take this trip because there were a lot of things in my life that were preventing me from going. I almost didn't go. So to be able to have this full opportunity to go, I was elated. So we got our stuff together and we went. We were out. So we get to Puerto Rico and a few days into the trip, we decided that we wanted to visit El Yunque Rainforest, and that's a beautiful natural rainforest in Puerto Rico. On the day of the trip, we decided to take an Uber from the Airbnb to the actual rainforest. And this was the easy part. We just got in the cab, the Uber, we drove for about an hour, no problem. So we are driving, and once we enter the forest, we have to drive to the top. This is a massive forest. It's about 28,000 acres of land. So, we take a long series of winding roads around blind corners to reach the top. And this driver, he's doing a great job. He's driving in stick, he's shifting gears, it's raining. Again, blind corners, just right and left and right and left, but we get to the top. But as we were driving to the top, the cab driver told us to call him when we were done hiking through the forest so that he'd be able to take us back to our Airbnb when the day was over. Now, he did warn us that the park does not have good cell phone service. This should have been our first clue that things might not go our way. But we didn't pay too much attention to that detail. We did exchange phone numbers and the driver dropped us off. So we exchanged numbers, he had my number, I had his. So when the day was over, the plan was I was going to call him and he would pick us up. So, my cousin and I were in the park, we're having fun. We hiked. I even exclaimed jokingly,
"I knew this was a rainforest, but I didn't know it was gonna rain."
My friends tore me apart for that. They're like, "Caleb, you know you're going to rainforest. How you gonna say it's not raining? Da 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 da." Of course, but you know when you're a tourist and you're just going from point A to point B, you don't really realize everything's happening until it's happening. So fine, we go, we have our fun, good. Taking shelter in the tower. And it was cold rain too, not even like, oh, a little warm, something, it's freezing. Now, when it was time to leave, we went to our pickup spot, and it was near a vendor, and they were under a little shelter, because again, it's a rainforest, it's raining a lot, so you need some protection. And when we were in that location, we tried to call our driver, but he didn't answer. I called him, and I called him, and I texted him, and then he finally texted me back. He said he was unavailable, he couldn't pick us up. I think he was doing another ride or something else came up, so he couldn't get us. But he did give us the number to his friend, and he said, okay, my friend will be able to get you. My friend will come. So here's his number, just call him. So I call his friend, call the number, text that number, no answer. And I call a few times just to make sure. So now it's like, now what? What are we supposed to do? And because his friend didn't answer the phone, it was like, we're stranded in Puerto Rico in El Yunque Rainforest. So now we're trying to figure out what to do. After my cousin and I talk it over and think about it for a bit, we decided to tell the vendors who were there what was going on, tell them our story. So there were two people there. There was a man there and a woman there. The man, he spoke Spanish, and the woman, she spoke English. The woman was in front, so we spoke to her first. She didn't really know too much what to do, but she asked the guy, so she asked him and translated. I do speak some Spanish, but I just really preferred if she handled it, and she did handle it. After she talked to the guy, he decided, okay, I can take them home after my shift ends. Now, the guy asked us indirectly through her, through the translator, how much did we pay to come to the park through the Uber. So we told him, yeah, we paid $50. Okay, cool. So then he agreed, okay, I will take you back home for that same $50. And it is worth it to note, in Puerto Rico, they do use US dollars. So, after the cab driver decided that $50 was a good price for him, there was just one issue. We didn't have any cash. Well, I think my cousin, he ended up having $10 in his wallet, so fine. But me, in my wallet, I didn't have any cash. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I was thinking maybe there's an ATM at the entrance, but the entrance was so far away. I was thinking, how am I going to do this? Or I was thinking maybe he can take us to the Airbnb and then we can pay him there. So I scrambled my mind and I'm thinking, I'm like,
what am I going to do?
So after a few moments, I remembered, oh, I bought an extra $40 with me and it was hidden behind my phone in my phone case. I brought that money with me in case of emergency. And guess what? This was that emergency. Because of this money, we were able to pay the driver and he was able to take us home. And in the end, I was grateful for the experience. The driver was a very nice guy. He was a Christian guy like me. He had some gospel playing and he spoke Spanish. I was able to have a little conversation with him in Spanish. So overall, it went well. But the main reason I'm telling you this story is it's so important to always have some cash on you just in case you run into an emergency. Whether you're traveling in your local neighborhood or you're traveling abroad in a totally different country, always be sure to have some cash on hand just in case you run into an emergency, like being stuck in the middle of a rainforest. This emergency money that you have, you can always store it in a separate part of your wallet, or you could do like me, store it in the back of your phone case. That way it's out of sight, out of mind, and you'll only remember it when you need it for an emergency. You can also maybe, for example, I've done this on some vacations as well, slide an extra $20 or $40 into your sock. I've done that. That way nobody else knows where the money is, and then if you have an emergency, you can just grab it, give it. It's cool. You can also hide some money in a secret part of your bag or your suitcase because you just want some extra money just in case you find yourself in an emergency. Now I know I usually prefer using a credit card or using a digital payment like Zelle or Cash App, but that wasn't really an option for me back when we were in Puerto Rico then. However, I suppose it would be an option now. But just in case those are not options for you, always be sure to have cash on hand so you'll be ready in case of an emergency. Well, I hope you liked that story time. If you did, just please click the like button down below. Also, click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you'll be notified the moment I post my next video. And just comment the word down below, stranded, because that was the topic for today's video. And we're going to do a question of the day here. So just answer this question down below in the comment section. Do you carry any emergency cash? I'll be sure to get back to your comment and I'll leave a nice heart next to it as well to let you know that I saw your comment. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.